Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, an Insight, Episode 244. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dear devotees, we closed the previous episode listening to the narration of Balaji Patil Nevaskar that depicts his complete surrender towards Sri Sai Maharaj and his invaluable service to the Guru. In recognition of this, Sri Sai Baba played an incredible Leela and blessed the family abundantly. This Leela is known as Annapurna Siddhi. Devotees must be familiar with the practice of grinding wheat by Sri Sai Baba at Dwarakamai and the miracle connected to it. The wheat thus used for grinding was from the harvest offered by Balaji Patil Nevaskar. The food prepared from this wheat was distributed as consecrated food to the devotees and partook by Sri Sai Baba as well. It is believed that when a devotee offers food to saints and if it is accepted by them, then that offering will reap abundant blessings to the devotees. Then what to say about the Brahmanyanis like Sri Sai Maharaj? Shastras proclaim that even a grain of rice accepted by them will bestow their boundless grace upon the devotee, eradicate the sins accumulated in the past births, and their good merits will multiply. The master of masters, Sri Sai Maharaj, had eaten the grains offered by Balaji Patil Nevaskar. Can anyone imagine or gauge the tremendous merits that the family would earn by this good deed of theirs? Let us listen to the Leela connected to this now. After some years, Balaji Patil Nevaskar attained the holy feet of the Lord. On his death anniversary, all the relatives were invited to partake the food, and the food was served by the ladies of the house. At that juncture, they noticed that the guests that turned out for the ceremony were much more than invited. The daughter-in-law was perplexed. She approached her mother-in-law to seek guidance. Devotees listened to the stunning response of the mother-in-law, that is Balaji Patil Nevaskar's wife, an ardent devotee of Sri Sai, responded thus: "All this food belongs to Sri Sai Maharaj. He is the chief of this house. Why do you worry unnecessarily? He is responsible for all the good and bad things happening in this home. So, if the family earns a bad name owing to shortage of food in today's serving, then that will have to be borne by Sri Sai Maharaj. Go and bring Sri Sai Baba's Udi. Sprinkle a pinch in all the cooked dishes, then cover it with a cloth and keep serving to the guests without removing the cloth." Lo! Wonder of wonders! The food was not only sufficient for all the guests, but more food was remaining in all the vessels. As we contemplate on this Leela, we can very well understand that this divine sport was transpired by Sri Sai Maharaj in response with the wholehearted offering made by Balaji Patil Nevaskar during his lifetime by bringing carts and carts of his harvest, traveling almost 44 kilometers from his hometown Nevasa to Shiradi to offer all the produce that he got from his farm. So, as per the law, one doesn't receive anything unless he has offered it before. Subsequently, Balaji Patil Nevaskar and his family has offered grains in abundance, and now Sri Sai Maharaj is returning it at times of need by means of Annapurna Siddhi and relieved them from anxiety. The unswerving faith of Balaji Patil Nevaskar's on Sri Sai Maharaj is astounding. Let us analyze the factors that lead to this steadfast faith of hers upon Sri Sai Maharaj. Firstly, a similar Leela was demonstrated by Sri Sai Maharaj to Purandare and his family. At that juncture, Purandare was staying at Balaji Patil Nevaskar's house at Shirdi. After the Leela took place, Sri Sai Maharaj in a casual tone enquired Balaji Patil Nevaskar if the food served by Purandare was sufficient for all the guests. In fact, Balaji Patil's wife was the witness to this miracle. So, Sri Sai Maharaj had given a glimpse of the Annapurna Siddhi to her beforehand. Regarding Purandare, the food cooked for 7 people sufficed almost 40 to 50 people and more food was left out. Now, when Mrs. Balaji Patil was facing a similar challenge, she immediately recalled the Annapurna Siddhi demonstrated by Sri Sai Baba to Purandare family, and this strengthened her faith on Sri Sai Maharaj and gave her confidence that their Guru will not forsake them. So, she spontaneously reacted to her daughter-in-law's issue, guiding her to sprinkle the holy ashes on the cooked food and serve to all the guests. Surprisingly, when Annapurna Siddhi of Sri Sai Maharaj was experienced by Purandare's family, the food was not covered with a cloth prior to serving because serving the food to the guests was already in process. Then, how did Mrs. Balaji Patil Nevaskar get this thought? Let's listen to the reason that led to her decision now. Narasimha Saraswati Swami was revered as an incarnation of Lord Dattatreya. His life story was known as Gurucharitra, and Sri Sai Maharaj encouraged many to read this holy scripture in 7 days. This book contains a Leela exhibiting the Annapurna Siddhi. Accordingly, at one instance, the food became insufficient and so it was covered with a cloth and served, and immediately the quantity of the food multiplied and sufficed all the guests. Balaji Patil Nevaskar's wife was aware of this divine sport, hence she also followed the same method to overcome the challenge at her home by surrendering totally to the lotus feet of Sri Sai Baba. This paved the way for the family to experience the Annapurna Siddhi of Sri Sai Maharaj. Be it an assertion or Leela of Sri Sai Maharaj, it is packed with significance, but that will not be perceived by others at that moment. Soon, when they connect the dots of the events that took place in the past, then they will be able to realize the importance of it. Sri Sai Maharaj says, "My words are pregnant with meanings and never hollow." In this chapter, Hemat Panji has described the service rendered by Balaji Patil Nevaskar in 2 to 3 OVs. He says, cleaning the path trekked by Sri Sai Maharaj by sweeping the roads, removing the tiny stones on the path and cleaning the animal dung was one of the remarkable services rendered by Balaji Patil Nevaskar. After him, it was done diligently by Sri Radhakrishna Mai, followed by Abdul Baba. In these OVs, Hemat Panji also glorifies the great qualities of Sri Radhakrishna Mai. He says, though she belongs to Desastha caste, which falls under a high caste Brahmin community that is worshipped by the other communities, she never had the stupid thought that it is below her dignity to do this menial job that would degrade her community. She did a selfless service to her Guru. Her devotion was reflected in every service that she performed. Sri Radhakrishna Mai followed a unique method for sweeping the roads of Shirdi that were trekked by Sri Sai Maharaj. She would walk backwards and sweep with broomsticks on both her hands so that her feet would not be placed on the area that was swept. She didn't want to place her feet on the area she swept. That clean road is meant only for Sri Sai to trek. What a loving devotion that is. Her service was unparalleled. we listen to the services rendered by Balaji Patil Nevaskar. Let's listen to his devotion and his spiritual evolution. Hemat Panji writes that Balaji Patil Nevaskar never drinks any water other than the Padatirth, that is the water used for washing the feet of Sri Sai Maharaj or the water used for his bath. Such was his love and devotion towards Sri Sai Baba. This made him evolve to great heights in spirituality. Let me quote a couple of instances as evidence to this fact, says Ramanathan brother. Firstly, Damu Anna, an ardent devotee of Sri Sai Baba, once arranged for giving free food at Shirdi, and this is known as Bandara. He also invited Sri Sai Maharaj to partake in the food. Devotees must be aware that it's a general practice of Sri Sai Baba to send Shama to attend the programs on his behalf. Shama was considered as a representative of Sri Sai Baba. So, devotees of Sri Sai Maharaj always felt happy to have the presence of Shama. At various situations, Shama was even asked to accompany a devotee to secure the life. Surprisingly to Damu Anna, Sri Sai said, "Take Balaji Patil Nevaskar with you. You must honor him by offering the prime seat, that is, to be seated in the middle and serve the food to him. Never say that. This statement of Sri Sai Baba also portrays the social behavior that prevailed during that period. People that were born in the so-called lower caste were treated as untouchables, and they were always asked to stay away in the public gatherings or to stay in a corner, and to clear them from the way, the term that was used. So, in the above assertion, Sri Sai Baba is instructing Damu Anna to not treat Balaji Patil Nevaskar as an untouchable, as the society was being partial to the people belonging to the lower caste. So, for this free food distribution, Balaji Patil Nevaskar was sent as a representative of Sri Sai Maharaj. Damu Anna reserved a seat for Sri Sai Maharaj and placed a leaf right next to it was the seat given for Balaji Patil Nevaskar. Thus, the food was served for all classes of people without any disparity. Sri Sai Baba chose Balaji Patil to take part in this event on his behalf to indicate that Balaji is a spiritually evolved soul, and this grace dawned upon him by drinking the sacred water that was used for washing the feet and body of Sri Sai Baba. Balaji Patil Nevaskar has surrendered his Tan, Man and Dhan at the lotus feet of the Guru, which means he submitted his body, soul and wealth completely to Sri Sai Maharaj. The evidence of this attitude of Balaji Patil Nevaskar is well reflected in another Leela. After narrating the Annapurna Siddhi, Hemat Panji continued to narrate the Leela of Sri Sai Baba appearing as snake at Balaji Patil Nevaskar's home. A friend of Balaji Patil by name Raghu Patil was residing at Shirdi. He went to Nevasa to meet Balaji Patil. Raghu Patil is the brother of Bagoji Shinde, the most ardent devotee who suffered from leprosy but was greatly fortunate to serve Sri Sai Maharaj in a unique way. Before listening to the Snake Leela, let's quickly heed a brief note about Raghu Patil. Once, a fake case was filed against Raghu Patil and 5 others saying that they were involved in molesting a Marwari woman. Really, no such crime took place in Shirdi. There prevailed clash between two communities, and as a result of which, to take revenge on Raghu Patil, false evidences were created and a fraudulent person became an eyewitness for this case. As the evidence was strong, everyone believed that Raghu Patil would be convicted by the court. Tatya Kote Patil approached Sri Sai Maharaj and pleaded to relieve Raghu Patil from this problem as he was suffering behind bars. Tatya brought the case file of Raghu Patil for reviewing. All the leading lawyers that were ardent devotees of Sri Sai Baba, such as Kaka Sahib Dikshit, Dada Sahib Kaparde, went through the file and found that Raghu Patil will be declared guilty by the court of law as all the evidence were against him. They said there was no possibility to even get a bail for him. Thus, the lawyers were certain that the judgment would not be in favor of Raghu Patil. Sri Sai Maharaj instructed that the file be taken to Bhav, that is to S.B. Dhumal, as he will relieve Raghu Patil from this case. Accordingly, it was taken to Dhumal, and the most compassionate Sri Sai Maharaj guided the mind of the judges in a subtle manner and blessed Raghu Patil to get bail. Thus, Raghu Patil got bail, and following this, the court's verdict also came in favor of Raghu Patil, and he was freed from this fabricated case. Getting back to the original thread, this Raghu Patil went to Balaji Patil Nevaskar's house at Nevasa, and that's when Sri Sai Maharaj portrayed the snake Leela, and we shall heed to this in the coming episode and the other enthralling stories. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.